Alrighty, guys, here we go. Wednesday Night Fights, brings you Tank Talk Live. I'm here with a couple special guests. We're going to start talking about everything coming out this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off to my special guests here. My first guest is my right-hand man in the business. He is co-owner of Wednesday Night Fights. He is the face that runs the place. Beaver.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Then my second special guest here, I guess I could call him the leader of the comp version of TLP on World of Tanks here. A proud member of Wednesday Night Fights also, and just a good guy all around, and he sounds like Sean Connery. You can't beat that. Mark Jackson.
How's it going, people? Nice to be here.
Thank you for coming out there, guys, and everything. So we are going to have some special guests here coming on later on this evening. Dampest Duck from VGA. We have Enraged Taker coming out. We have Raging Warrior from NB. He's going to be coming out here very soon. So a lot of special guests coming up here on Talk Tank Live. So really fast here, what we're going to do, start this out, what we got going on is the nuts and bolts have been tightened down. Everything has gotten settled in, and we're going to talk about what's getting registered, what's opening tonight, and that's the registration for the Wounded Warrior tournament. The rules have been released to both all the parties here. It's been a long, arduous drawing these things up and making sure they're absolutely perfect for this type of scenario, for all of this. So we'll get right down to it. Beaver, do you have the rules also pulled up as well?
Not at the moment. I am a little preoccupied. Give me like 10 minutes.
Okay, no problem. All right, Mark, I know you have the rules right there with you, don't you?
Yes, absolutely, sir.
So yet again, the Wounded Warrior Project tournament. This is going to be the soft date that we're going to have it. So March 3rd was Clan Wars Finals, and we don't want to mess with that. So we go ahead and move this to March 10th, so no one will be it won't be getting interfered with. The other part of this is it is a 32-man tournament, but if there is more people that sign up, we won't turn you away. We'll just adapt, and we'll make it bigger and bigger. So it's a 32-plus team tournament with 10-man rosters. Entry fee for this event is $100 per team. That's $10 per player. A single elimination tournament using the best of 5 or the race to 3. The tournament format is 770, which consists of 7 players playing 7 tier 10 tanks. Each team will have 3 reserve players in the room with them between which they could swap out for. Everything is going to be ran through a bracket system. So the next team moves on until everything. Team seedings. I'll do the seedings, and then Mark, I'm going to let you do the rest here. So the team seedings will be determined by the WNF rank that is provided. So the teams, but here's the thing: if you're not a registered team and you sign up for this, you just become a non-registered team. You become a non-ranked team in the Wednesday Night Fights server. So then it becomes down to first come, first serve on those rankings. So it's going to be, if you were first in the silver, in the gold division, that's number 1 seeding in the tournament. If you're number 1 in the silver division, that's number 11. If you're first in the bronze, that should be in the 20 region. Actually 30 region. So, and then non-ranked teams would then follow suit afterwards. So, with that out of the way, I will let Mark Jackson the representative for TLP, continue on with the rest of this.
Alrighty. So yeah, as following on from there where you are, we'll get the closing dates and all those other things worked out, and hopefully Els can manage to get a pre-registration server up in Discord pretty soon.
It is ready.
And starting
Yep.
those things. Oh, you got that already going? Excellent.
It's not up. I was figuring we can open it up at the start of the Wednesday night fights at 8 p.m.
Sweet.
Eastern. It will go live.
Yep. Then obviously we'll be expecting top-notch conduct from all the entrants, etc. And then we'll be going through some of the other specifics and tidy up the rest of it as we go. But in the main message I want to put out, this is a charity event. First time anybody's done something like this, and all proceeds will be going straight to the Wounded Warrior Project. And as it says in the disclosed rules, the winning team will be invited to attend the check ceremony at the Wounded Warriors Project Centre in Chicago. Obviously, the nearer to Chicago you live, the cheaper that's going to make you getting there, should you be so successful as to win. But you will be cordially invited to that presentation. And I think, in a nutshell, that's kind of where we are. As Hellscats mentioned, we'll be using pretty much the standard WNF rules for the games, matches, and the streams. All matches will be moderated. And have I missed anything else? I think
Yes.
that's us pretty much right up to scratch.
Yeah, I mean, and so we'll just do a couple more minutes here, and we'll get everybody else in here. So what this does include, the format that will be ran, course 770, no limit on tank amount
yes,
of tank
course.
picked. So you can run, if somebody comes in and decides to run 7 E5s, well, that's their team, 7 E5s. There is no limit on that. There is no limit on autoloaders. So if
Can I cut in, guys? Do not run 75s, please.
yeah, it
happened
it's
to
not
me.
the best.
I have been in that match. They got destroyed.
Yeah, you need
94
diversity.
loved those 2 full healthy 5s I took out.
Yeah, hey, I could say you could run it. I wouldn't say that it's advisable. So yeah, so you could run as many of many of one tank at a time with restrictions. There is no autoloader limit. So if you want to come out with 7 bat chats, that's your call. I don't know if I would do that, but hey, that's your choice. Here we're going to get into you can run 7 Artie. Artie's allowed in the event. It's not limited. So if you want to come out and 7-man team of T92s, that's your choice. You can do it. Here's where the limitations do come in. On the TDs, on the tank destroyers, for everybody, so we can be clear, on the tank destroyers, it's just like on the Wednesday night fights. You're only allowed 2 and only 1 of each type. So that's 1 E4 and 1 waffle, or 183. You know that. There is the limits right there. It is going to be on the TDs. Mark, if you want to scroll down, the maps have been pre-selected based
Yes.
on everything. And Mark, would you want to go ahead and go through go through all the maps that will be played on this great tournament?
Totally. I'm just let me scroll further down because I clicked back up accidentally. I was reading the bit.
No problem.
Station.
I think it's
Choose
7.
7.
Is it 6 or 7?
6.
6.0 or 7.0?
That's a tank picks 7. How embarrassing. You had to call me. Oh yeah, I found it. There we go. In the elimination round 1 and 2, the maps selected are Airfield War Encounter, Highway Encounter, with the tiebreaker of Ghost Town.
And it will really fast. Let's discuss those really fast. I know a lot of teams enjoy Airfield. and we had some recommendations and stuff like that from the WCL with the Airfield War. What do you think about Airfield War, there, Mark?
Well, it's a good map. It's only slightly different in my eyes to the standard airfield. Obviously, there is a lot more cover, a lot more potential for a slower push, but I don't see a huge difference between it and the other one. But it's a damn good map. It's a map that's heavily played, and a lot of people know it very well. And you can get some mixed tactics in that. You see artillery occasionally run on airfield, for instance.
Yes, yes, you do. So I feel that map will help break the ice with a lot of these teams coming out. I know some teams have some good strats for it. Some teams can run on a whim. You don't have to have a set strat to run airfield. So you could kind of wing it. So I do believe with those maps you could definitely get away with. The next variant, of course, will be a first.
Yeah,
It's going to be highway.
Yeah.
What do you think of that one?
It's not one that I could even contemplate. That's going to be very, very open. Very, very open. It'd be very interesting to see what people pull out in that one, because I can't say I've ever seen it played in a comp. Have you?
WCL1 or WCT3?
Right, yep. I can't remember.
But yeah,
ever played
with
it.
this one, you have the base, which is right there in the city. It's the spawns are actually really decent on that map. No one exact team. One team has a hill, but then they have snipe advantage, and another one has a good sniping point. I feel that it's definitely going to make the feel of your bat chats, utilizing your bat chats to the maximum potential on that map.
I was going to say, definitely one that you can see some mediums being run for sure.
Well,
Definitely.
and also on that map, there's nothing some teams could go bust out the ultra heavies. I mean, the mouse is a total info. I mean, the mouse can make it from both spawns within reasonable time, and there's still enough cover on both sides to get those ultra heavies into there. So highway, bringing it back, and we're gonna have a little bit of fun on it. And then Ghost Town, as always. Go ahead and go on to the next round. We'll talk about those.
Okay, so at the quarter-final stage, we're kicking off with Cliff Encounter. Good old brawling map.
Yeah, you can't go
still
wrong with
allows for some wicked and strange moves here and there, but again, it can predominantly be a heavy brawling map with a couple of big old TDs in there, so you'll see some variance in there. But I've seen some wonderful tactics pulled off on Cliff Encounter for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can have the medium plays working. You could have your TDs playing, the way that they want, and then your heavies. I've seen so many matches, good matches on Cliff. I know it's a favorite.
Oh well, they don't call it Death Valley for nothing. And then jumping onto Port Encounter, which was one that interested me, man. As soon as I seen that, I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, Port Encounter. Yet again, we're gonna throw back. Yet again, this was another throwback to the WCT and WCL roots. So definitely an interesting pick there. A lot of stuff can be done. One side has a slight advantage, but the other side has a little bit of a different slight advantage on it. So it's going to be a definite shakeup in the listings.
Oh yeah, definitely. At the same time, a lot of people hate the map. Some people love it, and it's definitely interesting what can be done there. But like,
Yeah,
pubs,
it's going to be.
you get to 50. Some people just they see Port in pubs, and then other people are like, yes, Port, here I go.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out.
And again, you've got your tiebreaker on Ghost Town, as ever. And then in the semi-finals, opened it right up at the other end, going with Murovanka as a kick-off. Very traditional, commonly played. You see that a lot on your Wednesday night fights and in all your formats, and you see that played everywhere. A very much loved map across the board, Murovanka. Well, I feel so anyway.
Yeah, with the semifinals, it definitely opened it up to wide spaces, putting those teams on pressure to go from kind of these close encounters with airfield and highway-ish and cliff and then port and then going to Murovanka. It gives people more depth on their team, how they could
Yes.
on how deep can they do their players play and stuff like that. So, and then Prokhorovka, I know this is one of your favorites.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I love the Prokhorovka map, but then again, a lot of teams love Prokhorovka and some dislike it, but the current tactics you see being employed and people beginning to vary how they work that middle line can be incredibly interesting, and it can be hard to keep up with in stream.
Yes. So we're going to have some very good action-packed actions for that. And then the finals. Let's do it. Mark, drum roll. Go ahead and list them out.
Good old Himmelsdorf is the first one of the finals. Definitely one of the best looking maps on stream. It looks fantastic visually, and again, there's some variant tactics that obviously, generally, people go predominantly pretty heavy, sometimes with the Cutlass Scouts, and you see some baiting tactics and stuff played in Himmelsdorf. You see turtles, you see full-on aggression, you see just about everything there is to see in Himmelsdorf.
Yeah, and this is the old school. This is not the new meta of going at the night, so that the base will not be up on the hill. The base is going to be down there in the OG area. So that is a huge game changer for some of these teams who've been really practicing Himmelsdorf night. So that's going to be super exciting. And then what's the second map going to be?
It is almost everyone's favourite little heavy map, Ensk.
Ensk. Can't beat it.
Boom, 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 boom. Yep. Yeah, another great little map. Heavy flank tactics tend to be produced there. Find everybody, look for a flank, and you see some fantastic action on Ensk. Again, a hard one to keep up with on stream at times.
Yeah. Well,
in the tiebreaker Ghost Town.
Yeah, tiebreaker going to Ghost Town, keeping everything pretty legit in this. And then, of course, going through the rest of the rules, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. We've hit the nail on the head on a lot of subjects. And then there's some new stuff in there. One of the first ones would, and this is going to be a biggie here. I'm going to go down on Rule 6 here under the listing number 6, which is under moderator screw-ups. It tends to happen. It does happen. And so the way that we counter it is this here. I'll just go through the listing really fast. In the event a moderator forgets to change sides during the match, the game will not count, and the lower seeded team is to capture the encounter. There will be no ramming, no shooting, or anything that would damage the enemy tanks and cost players more silver. If anybody would break the rule, the team that damages the opponent's tank first will instantly forfeit the game and receive a loss. If either team prevents the capture of the flag, that team will receive a loss. So if two teams are messing around and don't cap it out, both teams get a loss.
Communication with everyone on that one will have to be tight and make sure that it's announced real quickly. People saying I didn't know.
yeah, and that's it. That takes out of that element of, well, I didn't know. Well, you just found out and you lost your team the round.
in the hardest possible way.
Yeah, so I mean, it's crazy as it sounds, but it helps restrict the time, and so we can get going a whole lot faster. And then, of course, winning the round out is, of course, either cap or kill all. Yet again, if a draw does come into a suit, the Wednesday Night Fight draw system will come into effect, which is the tanks remaining. It will be counted up on their remaining health and their total damage output. It will get averaged, and the scores from both sides would be judged. So the points that are awarded for each, so it comes down to, and we love it here lately. We've been taking it down to the wire. We've had 2 draws, and one team went, give them the win. And they're like, this is taking too long because it took about 4 minutes. The one team said, screw it, give them the win, actually ended up winning the round.
Wow.
And so I'm like,
Wow.
okay, there you go. If you would have waited an extra 2 more minutes, that was a W in your book.
Wow.
So you gotta, people, that are talking to the moderators, yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but don't do that again. I mean, that was, that's a good way to throw away a quick victory. And the way that the ranks are working, speaking of which, the ranks will be redone here by the end of by the end of Saturday and Sunday's matches, the ranks will be updated. So, with registration coming in, and then yet again, so under all of this, so registration opens up at 8 p.m. tonight. What goes on is if he opens up at 8 p.m. this evening, and then up there on Discord, the channel's already there. You guys will just be able to see it, and there is an example set. You must follow that exactly. And the way that you do this exactly, and I will walk you all the teams through it. You're going to upload your logo. Underneath there, it's going to state. You're going to have an open bar to add a caption. What then you would do then is, in that caption, you will list off your team, the team captain, and the team co-captain. And then below there would be the 10 members. So your names, if you're the captain and co-captain, you're going to be listed off twice. But if you look at it at the example, you will see exactly the way everything is set up. And what this does is reinsure us quickly on everything, and the registration goes smoothly. There won't be any chatting in there. There won't be any. It's just going to be for teams that registered. So registration will close February 24th at midnight that night. Your dues must be finalized and be done and finalized with the TLP guys, which we will be getting all that information to you guys. Payments are not due right off the bat, guys. You can register and then pay your dues when you can. So we'll have that going. And then what happens? Roster changes. You could change your 10-man roster up all the way up to the date of closing, of course, midnight, February 24th. Once that is passed, the 10-man roster is set. The registration channel will be locked, and team seating will begin. Your roster will be locked completely down. You will not be able to change it one bit. So you better make sure on whoever your 10-man team is that you have those people that they're able to attend. So, all right, I'm going to start bringing some guys in here. First out, let's see how fast these guys are able to get in here. So, first one, send Enraged Tanker an invite. Mr. Mr. Raging Warrior. And then also Mr. Dampest Duck. And we'll just wait for these guys to hop in the party and join us on Take Talk Live.
Howdy, fellas.
Hello.
Howdy. How are you tonight then?
Oh, not bad.
how's-
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. Just sitting here, been going through. Sorry to get in. It took a little bit. We went through all of the rules and everything for the TLP Wounded Warrior tournament.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, it seems quite interesting because I was watching the stream a little bit earlier. Just seems quite interesting. We'd definitely put our names down for it. Certainly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, this is straight up all going to a great cause. And in the community, this is our chance as a community to actually be able to give out and just not be around. Hey, Mark, should we also talk about the what Wounded Warrior is also going to be giving to the winning team?
Of course, go ahead, go right ahead.
You want me to do it? So, while everybody else is in here, welcome, guys, welcome. To everybody else who's watching, to the winners of the tournament, as on top of being there, being live in the ceremony, giving away, the check to these guys, and Wounded Warrior putting on a full ceremony for TLP Wednesday Night Fights, your team, and Wargaming. They're also going to be handing out to the winning team the Wounded Warrior blanket, with all of that, so you would walk away with at least a bit of swag. And then also Wednesday Night Fights will be giving away some swag to the winners also of this tournament. So you just won't feel that you're just donating the money to a good cause, which is awesome. Wednesday Night Fights is going to get you hooked up also with a T-shirt and a hat for your team.
So very nice. Tell
Yes.
you what, I wouldn't mind having an extra blanket to put on me at night when I'm going to sleep. I think we all would.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all about the blanket, bro.
yeah, and they're pretty awesome blankets. I'm jelly. I want one. So that's going to be awesome. Everything coming down the pipe. Trying to do, TLP Wednesday Night Fights. We're trying to bring this out for the community. And yet again, let me put it to you this way: a tournament like this, Wounded Warrior's never done anything with the video game community, ever. They're
They're really looking forward to how we go with that, and they've also, as we've quietly mentioned here, let's look at developing something straight after that with another tournament, possibly at their base. But obviously we need to get other people involved in that, and we'll get more details on that as we go. And then as far as
Mark,
the donation
you
process,
you leaked it live on the stream. You just leaked it.
Didn't say it super loud. I didn't say it super loud. I just sort of let it fall out that it's a possibility. There's nothing been super agreed. We've still got other people to talk to. It just fell out there. That's forthcoming as we develop the rest of this. But as far as the donation process is concerned, I'll get that written up for the guys for the rules. We're just trying to make sure we maximise the return to the Wounded Warrior project. So now it's possibly through a GoFundMe, which I believe in my research comes out in American terms at 2.9% for the enrollment process. That's about the best we can do there. So that will be going to them as they take. But if we can find a better option that's simple, then we'll also look at that. But the good thing with the GoFundMe is very visible. It should be very easy for the clans to register, and probably just ask them something along the simple lines as they register, they just state their clan name on, pop their donations on, state how much they're putting in. It's visible to everybody as it rolls in. Anybody should be able to access the thread, and we can post it back in Discord so they can see that there and then as it goes. But that'll be one of the last things that we pop on just once we get close to the registration end. But that's as much as I can say now, because I've got to get that nailed on for you.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, a lot of things, a lot of sweet things going to be coming up on tap on all of this. So, more and more stuff is going to be coming out. So stay tuned on everything coming out of the tournament. More and more is going to come down, and trying to state the Wednesday Night Fights, TLP. We're all trying to move this on to the next. The next evolution in gaming.
Absolutely.
World of Tanks. So, I mean, Damage and all those guys put on a Clan Wars. Go check those out every weekend. So, I mean, with Damage and us and everybody trying to keep the community involved, and there's no better way than come out and literally be able to state, because every one of the teams that sign up for this will be able to state, hey, we were part of the Wounded Warrior tournament. That was the first history-making, first.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Groundbreaking right there. Have we posted anywhere where the information for this tournament can be found?
Registration.
And these cool T-shirts and blankets.
So what's going to be going on is registration will be opening up at 8 p.m. So at the start of the show, registration will open up for your teams. The rules right now are they're going through with our editor-in-chief to make sure I didn't get anything misspelled, and stuff like that. So you guys aren't ripping me on Discord about, hey, you know, Knight is spelled N-I-G-H-T, right? And not N-I-H-G-T, right? Or, you know, stuff like that.
You gotta love the grammar police in World of Tanks and Wednesday Night Fights Discord.
So everybody that's tuned in here, I want to say welcome to everybody that's came out here. We have Enraged Tanker, Raging Warrior, and Dampest Duck all joined in. So thank you guys coming out. Are you guys?
Thanks for having us.
Yep, no problem. So are you guys Team USA or are you guys Team USSR?
That's a great question. Who wants to start with that one? You
I
went
didn't
USA?
go with USA.
I
but
bought the
then
Patriot and I was playing.
I went for the Russians in the end, just because what happened last year when it was USA versus Germany, and Germany came out on top. So, you know, I just thought I'd go with safe bet and go with Russia.
All right, so Raging's going Russia. Enraged, what are you going?
Well, I kind of bought the Patriot and the Defender, but I played the Patriot a lot, and I managed to rack up the points in that first. So go Team USA.
All right, Doc. What are you doing?
America. I did a little. We thought about it. We talked about it. A couple of our guys. We went through each tier, and we looked at each tank for tank. Soviets to Americans, and when it really boiled down, we had to roll with the Soviets. A bunch of us went Soviets. I went Soviets. I don't want to bring in Russian bias, but you can't go wrong Russian, right?
Mark, what did you pick?
I also went for Russia. Again, a little bit as Regina mentioned from last year's thing, but also I'm trying to burn an extra Russian crew, and those bonuses are really, really helping.
Oh yes, they certainly are at the moment.
It's definitely been good for grinding those countries as well, like you're saying. I mean, I have a guy. He's gone in one day. He went from his tier 8 to his tier 9, just because he's trying to qualify for his team.
Wow. One day, that's a grind.
It was impressive. I'm not gonna lie. That's definitely impressive for any tanker.
Well, I'm also trying to finish off the tier 9 to the tier 10 light transition. So again, that's making that a little bit easier and quicker.
All right, so speaking of that, we've been slowly seeing the tier 10 lights rolling in onto the battlefield during scrimmages. We saw Murphy Mahler and his that Soviet T100 just absolutely wreak death on people. I want to get the feelings across the board with what do you guys think about it. So, we're Enraged Tanker, go ahead and what's your thoughts on it?
I think that, well, my feeling on them is they just got the speed and mobility to get you your vision and then get out really quick. Like, they're really hard to hit, especially when they're full force on the move. So, you know, that speed is a real big factor in any.
So you're giving it
vision
a big
scouting.
giant thumbs up then?
I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Like, I would
7 out of 10?
I wouldn't run it. I wouldn't run it all the time, but it's definitely a good option.
Raging, what do you think here? Do you think it's a map situational type thing to run the lights, or do you feel that the Batchat is more superior?
To be honest, to be frank, and to be honest with you, I think what it boils down to is like when you've got the Batchat, it has a lot more health than what the light tanks do. Yes, okay, maybe some of the light tanks might have a bit more better spotting range than what the Batchat has. I would say the first classic example, the Sheridan, that has more view range than what the Batchat has overall. So, but the only thing is with the Sheridan though, it's very top heavy. So trying to duke it with that sort of thing, yeah, it's not so great. So I'd stick with a Batchat just because then you've got the more health and you're able to clip tanks out. I mean, I've seen light tanks being played in scrims. It happened to us with a clan called Chiefs. We scrimmed with them and they ran the 13105 on Mountain Pass, and that actually really worked out well for them because he can climb up on all those hills and everything, those cliff edges. We weren't able to spot him. So I mean, it's yes. So I find it's quite a. I mean, it will work well with some clans, and it won't work so well with other clans when it comes to light tanks. I think.
So you sitting at like a 4 out of 5 stars, or you sitting at like a 6?
Ooh, probably a 4 out of 5 stars on that.
Okay.
Just because.
Go ahead.
You know, I mean, it all depends. As you said, it's very map variant. What the map, you know, for these light tanks. I mean, if you're in a town or anything, won't be beneficial for them. I mean, if it's on a big map, and I mean a big map, then yeah, certainly you would give it a go and see if it would pay off for you or not.
Yep. All right. So now we're going to shift it over to Duck. Duck, let's first start off on this. Where would you put it out of 1 to 10 stars? And then where do you feel that the light tank? Do you feel that the light tank is more superior versus the Batchat, or is it? Would you rather have, say, let's do a scenario for you on Prokhorovka, where mediums really have key. Because of the firepower. Let's talk to you really fast. Their Duck.
I really feel as though the lights have definitely brought a new element into the scenario. I have one tier 10 light, and it's the tier 10 Soviet, the LT100. I really enjoy it a lot. I think this new update, it really leveled out tanks across the board as far as lights go. Tier for tier, within their tier, they can definitely compete, and they're not getting shoved up. My experience with lights isn't high enough at this point to really go in depth on how great the new lights are, but I can definitely say I have seen a change in the way that the matchmaking setup for lights and arties as well. I enjoy it. I love going out in my lights and busting up the battlefield. Batchat, you know, this is a topic that I'd love to tune in on, because I think we're all trying to figure out what the best tier 10 light is.
Very true.
That's going to have to be my
Very true.
response to that one.
I mean, they all got their situations where they all have different positives and negatives, so it all depends.
Yeah, and as I said a little bit earlier, it all comes down to the map as well. Because you wouldn't want to run him in as I said, a city or a town map, because it's, it's too dangerous for them to even do that. That's when you would prefer, if needed, is the bat chat.
100%. And light tanks on a nice wide open match, good, but you get on the wrong match with a light tank. What's the map that's got all the valleys in it where we like to run off the cliffs and kill ourselves in lights?
Oh, you don't do that now.
What's the one that's got the all
Westfield?
the bunkers in the middle? It might be Westfield. I
Ca-
know one of them.
Cassadine
run
Pass
right
has
off
got the
cliff.
one. Yeah, Cassadine Pass, the one with the valley right down the middle of it.
Mm.
So let's see
And
here.
then the battle zone in the middle
Yeah.
with the
yeah.
bunkers. Yeah.
So we did get a question out from the Twitch land. Grunda Spades asking Hells, if you could name your very own reskin premium tank, what would you name it? Oh. Honestly, I'd like to have a. Ooh.
How's you got to go with your gamer tag.
Well,
For sure.
Well, no, honestly, I'm going to do a throwback here. I would like to get. I don't want to rip Anarchy's tank because it's so cool. But I would love to have a black T-57 that has Punisher on it.
Very nice.
And then have the little skull right there on the side of the turret, and or even call it Punished. Hint out to an old team that might be making a return on Wednesday Night Fights. So,
Hey, Hellscat.
yes, sir. Looks like we're almost getting to that time, aren't we?
We have we've got a lobby full
Balto.
of people ready, but no streamers.
Yeah. The old lady.
1 minute to go.
Yep, I'm on my way in. Some reason the Xbox just completely turned off, all on its own. So, Volto is out there. Oh, Wit saw it. You saw it. Woot woot what? Punished? Bomb drop. So we're gonna just continue wrapping this up, guys. I hope we're gonna start having Tank Talk Live a lot more. I've seen the popularity that everybody's been asking about it, so super excited about bringing back Talk Tank Live and to have a captive audience for it. So we'll probably be looking for some guest commentators to come out for Talk Take Live a little bit more. So I hope my guests tonight would love to come back out and do another Talk Take Live with us.
Yeah, sure.
Most definitely.
Most definitely.
Certainly.
Most definitely. Thanks for having us, man. We really appreciate it.
Oh, it's no
I know I
problem.
do.
I'm sorry, got started a little late. We were talking about the Wounded Warrior Project tournament that we had going on. So super excited with that. I hope a lot of teams sign up for it. Registration, yep, it's that time. So let's see here. I'm gonna permissions. Registration is going to be available. First off, let me make sure everything else is checked. So live on Talk Tank Live, we're going to be having this going right now. It's up. Registration is now open for the Wounded Warrior Tournament. So remember to go in there, take a look at the example, and I will explain it yet again when we're on stream later on this evening. So I do want to come in and say thank you to everybody who's came out this evening to Talk Take Live. Dampest Duck from VGA, Raging Warrior, the leader MB, and you will see him out later this evening with NB going against Panda, so that's going to be super exciting. TLP Mark Jackson, you can check him and Bad Company at TLP every Monday night at 7 p.m. on Meltdown. So thank you for coming out, Mark.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me.
And then, of course, Dampus from VGA. Thank you, sir, for coming out here. You're always great.
Thank you very much, guys, and good luck to those teams competing tonight. We'll definitely be watching you guys and cheering you on.
Awesome, dude.
Thank
and
you.
Then, Raging, thank you for coming out, putting some time into your busy schedule for coming out for Talk Take Live.
Oh, anytime. I mean, if it's to help out the community, I'm certainly down for it. Anytime, really.
Well, thank you, and you're the man. And then finally down there, Enraged Tanker, I forgot what team you're on now. What team are you?
I'm actually playing right now. Like, I'm in line to play right now.
Oh, you
SVG.
are. There you are.
Yeah.
So you're going to be checking him out to play right now. So there he is, top of the list. Once I get the screen going and everything for that. So I want to welcome everybody. Thank you so very much for coming out this evening. And the stream's gonna shut down for 20 seconds so I can just swap screens, and then throw up that delay, because everything that's been going on has been dead on without no delay. So we've been reading your guys' information right down as you guys are typing it. So we'll see you guys here soon, and have a great evening. Stay tuned. Wednesday Night Fights up next.